Okay, here's your fall semester review for your final for algebra. If you complete the final, follow along, copy all the things that I'm copying, you'll get 10 points added to your final. Guys, that's like a whole point and a half added to your semester. So it's huge. So please just watch the whole video. I know it's going to be long, but it'll be worth it. So which equation below does not have distributing as the first solving step? Keyword, not. Distributing is when we have the parentheses. So this has parentheses, this has parentheses, this has parentheses, this does not. Easy as that. Circle which step Jordan's mistake first appears in solving the equation below. So here, if he's distributing this, he should get a negative a. If you want to test that, you take 0.2 times negative 5, so negative 1a. 0.2 times 15, 3, so plus 3. Here you are distributing a negative 5. So we should get a negative 5a minus 10 equals 13. When we combine our like terms, a negative a and a negative 5a should be a negative 6a. This is where the mistake is. That is not correct. That is supposed to be a negative 6a. Write an equation that best represents the situation below if x represents the number of faucets replaced by the plumber. A plumber charges $60 for a travel fee and $1.40 for each. Anytime you see each, that tells you it goes next to an x. So plus 140x. He replaces or repairs for a homeowner. Mr. Riley paid the plumber $760 for replacing faucets in his home. So they're telling me that the price is $760. So 60 plus 140x equals $760. Party Pizza charges $10 for a large pizza, so $10 plus $1.50 per. Anytime you see the per, it goes next to your x. So $1.50x. Jasmine wants to order one large pizza and spend a maximum of $20. If the max you can spend is $20, you cannot spend more than that. So it has to be less than or equal to that 20. Write an inequality that Jasmine could use to determine the number of toppings n she can have on her pizza. So here they're telling us they want us to use n instead of x. It doesn't really matter. As long as you can replace the x and the n. Which of the following is contained in the solution for the inequality? So solution means it makes the statement true. So I could plug these in and simplify, or just to practice, because you need to be able to practice the steps, let's distribute first. So 4x less than or equal to, when I distribute that, 2x plus 6, and I still have the plus 1. Combine your like terms. So 4x is less than or equal to 2x plus 7. We can't have x's on both sides, so let's get rid of this 2x. So 2x is less than or equal to 7. To get the x by itself, the final step is to divide by 2. So x is less than or equal to 3.5. So which one of those numbers is less than or equal to 3.5? No, 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 yes. What a lot of you did is you did left side y1, right side y2, and you saw it was 3.5, and you rounded. You knew that 4 was the closest to it. Anytime it's an inequality and it's asking which one is a solution, it's either going to be the highest or the lowest, always. So we could have automatically eliminated C and B. We just need to determine which way the inequality goes and what number it's comparing it to. Number 6, a carpenter charges $45 for every 50 feet of fence he builds plus a travel charge of $37.50. If the equation C equals Stop right there. They are giving us an equation. Anytime they give us an equation, plug it in your calculator. So I'm going to type in 45 divided by 50. Instead of f, I'm going to use x plus 37.5. So this equation can be used to determine the total cost C of building F feet of fence. How many feet of fence, so how many the feet of fence is the F, which is like your X value, can be built for a cost of $352.50. So this part right here has to be less than $352.50. We're going to keep going. I'm going to jump. I'm at 102. Let's just jump to 300. Ooh, close. So I'm looking for 352. So keep going. There it is. 352.50 matches up with 350. By showing me the table, that is justifying. All right, shoe sizes and foot length are related by the formula S equals 3F minus 24, where S represents the shoe size, F represents the length of the foot in inches. Solve the formula for F. So I'm going to recopy it down here. And they want us to get F by itself. So that is what you are isolating. So isolate other side. How do I get rid of a minus 24? Plus 24. You write them side by side. So S plus 24 equals 3F. Isolate other side, side by side, divide. Divide each part by 3. You could see it either way. You could see it as S plus 24 divided by 3 equals F. Or you could simplify it doing each part divided by 3. So there's like an imaginary 1 in front of there. So 1/3 S plus 8 equals F. Either one of those answers is correct. Okay, if g of x equals 1/2 x plus 9, stop right there. We've got an equation. I'm serious. Every single time you see an equation, go to y equals and type it in. So 1/2 x plus 9. The 6 is in the parentheses. Remember, hold your arms in. It makes an x. So when you have 6 as x, so second window, let's go to 6. It matches up with 12. If m of x equals, hold up right there, we have an equation, go to y equals 1.5 parentheses x minus 4 close parentheses. This time the 3 is out of the parentheses, so it is the y value. So where do we see 3 on the y side? Oh, right there at 6. Which does not represent a function? Not a function, which means x repeats or the vertical line test. So if I'm looking at this one right here, what's happening? We're hitting it 3 times. This is not a function. Let's just look at the other ones. 3, 8, negative 3. Doesn't repeat. Negative 3, negative 2, 0, 2, and 3. Doesn't repeat. Negative 2, negative 1. 0, 3. Negative 5, 6. 7, 6. Doesn't repeat. A is your answer. A certain function contains ordered pairs shown in the table at the right. What is the slope of the line that represents this function? Okay, these are tables and a point. If you want to use linear regression, you can. So we could go stat, enter, and type in our points. Or I'm going to go over how to do it by hand. Okay, so to find slope, we need delta y over delta x. So to get from 1 to 6 plus, or 1 to 7 plus 6, 0 to 2 plus 2. So we have 6 over 2, which is 3. That's your slope. What is the equation of the line that represents the function? So now it wants the whole equation. We could use point-slope form because we've got points and we've got the slope. Or we could use slope-intercept because this point right here represents the y-intercept. It matches up with 0. So I'm going to do it that way. Y equals, the slope is 3, 3x. The y-intercept is 1, so plus 1. Let's review point-slope form just to go over it. You can use whatever point you want. Let's just use 2, 7. Y minus blank equals blank times x minus blank. The y value goes here, so let's use 7. Slope goes in front of the x, always. That's 3. X value goes right here, and that's 2. Both of these will work. Either one, whichever one you want. Okay, on to Tuesday's homework. The cost of renting a car for 1 day at Cheapo Rentals is $39 plus 15 cents per mile. You see that per? So 39 plus, to write 15 cents, it's 0.15 per mile. In a graph of the situation, what does the cost per mile driven represent? Anytime you have anything that's something per something, that is your slope. This is y per x. Y is the cost, x is the number of miles. Which table shows the rate of change of y with respect to x as this? So it wants the same rate of change or the same slope. This is your slope, so we want to keep it the same. I don't like dealing with decimals, let's jump down to these. 5 to 2, that's minus 3. 0 to 5, that's plus 5. So this one is negative 3 over 5. I'm sorry, does that match? Yeah. First try. Corrine has 434 words of her research paper typed so far. To calculate how long it will take her to type the paper, she uses this function. Plug it in the calculator because we got a function. I don't know if I'm going to need it, but it takes 2 seconds. Okay? To find out how many minutes x it will take her to type y words. What is the slope of the function and what does it represent? So the slope is always in front of the x. So the slope is 31. And it represents your y per x. Always. So what is the y? The y is the words. Per, what is the x? How many minutes x? Words per minute. Beautiful. The graph of the skydiver's height in the air after jumping from a plane and opening his parachute is shown at the right. Use the graph to determine the skydiver's rate of descent. Rate, so we're talking slope, which is rise over run. So here's a point. I'm going to create a table. 0, 2500. Pick any other pretty point. I think this is a pretty point. And this is a pretty point. Let me see if that's the same. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Okay. So another point is 50. 1500. So I've got 2 points. To get from here to here, it's minus 1,000. Here to here, plus 50. So negative 1,000 divided by 50. Type that in our calculator. Negative 1,000 divided by 50. Negative 20. The total cost of lodging for Sally's vacation is a function of the number of nights she stays at a vacation cottage. The owner of the cottage charges a $50 flat fee plus, so she charges $50 plus $125 per, we see that per, so 125x. Does this graph rightly represent this situation? Starts at 50, you're going up. Well, let's see, let's use those 2 points. So we've got 0, 50, and we've got 2, 300. So plus 250 over 2, 250 over 2, that equals 125. So the slope is right, the y-intercept's right, but notice how I put dots on here? Is this discrete or is this continuous? Number of days. Can you stay at a cottage for half of a day? No. It should be discrete. They shouldn't have connected it. It should have just been dots on the graph. 17. What are the x and y intercepts of the graph shown? Well, I see a line, but I don't see it crossing either of those. So I need to continue my line on. So here's a point, here's a point. Down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. So the x-intercept is right here at 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. The y-intercept is right here at 0, 2. You've got to know the difference between your points. Y-intercept has a y value, x-intercept has an x value. Which of the following is not a characteristic of direct variation? Direct variation is the same thing as proportional, which y'all learned last year. So it goes through the origin. This is a true statement. It's linear. That's a true statement. The value of the product x over y is the same for every point. Proportional means proportion, which means it's a fraction. That's the same every time. So it's not C. Oh, so C is your answer because C is not true. D is true. Graph a line with a y-intercept of -6. So I'm going to start at -6. 2, 3, 4, 5. And a slope of 2/3. Slope is your rise over your run. So I'm going to rise 2, run 1, 2, 3. Rise 2, run 1, 2, 3. Rise 2, 1, 2, 3. Check yourself with Slope Man. This is a positive slope, so it should be going up. Make sure you're going the right way. 20. Which sentence best describes the sequence 4, 7, 10, 13? Each term is 7 more. Let's see, how is it changing? 4 to 7 is plus 3. Plus 3. So no, it's not 7 more. Each term is 3 less. No. Each term is 3 times. No. Each term is 3 more. It's plus 3, yes. Than the term before it, starting with the number 4. Yes. All right, an arithmetic sequence is described by the formula. We have an equation. Plug it in your calculator. I'm telling you, if you remember to do that, you will pass your STAR test. No joke. 128 plus 15 parentheses. Instead of n, use x minus 1. And it wants f of 12. So it's inside, so this means 12 is your x. 293. Using the function represented by the table at the right, what is the range? What is the domain? The doctor tells us range means y. So the y values are 2, 5, 8, 11. Domain is x. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you also remember, if these symbols are there, it's discrete. If these symbols are there, it's continuous. These are just specific points, so we've got to be using the brackets. You've done your first 2 nights homework. Which function represents a proportional situation? Remember, proportional, same thing as direct variation. Linear goes through the origin. This, if you don't know what that looks like, plug it in your calculator because they gave us a function. 3x minus 2. That is linear, but it does not go through the origin. No. Same for C. This is linear, but it doesn't go through the origin. B, this is not a straight line. Your answer has to be D. But if you don't remember, we could go back and look. And another name is proportional, which means y over x is constant. So 3 over 1, y over x. 6 over 2, y over x. 9 over 3, y over x. And 12 over 4, y over x. 3 divided by 1, 3. 6 divided by 2, 3. 9 divided by 3, 3. 12 divided by 4, 3. That is your answer. 24. Write an equivalent equation for the equation 2h minus 3t equals 12, solving for h. So I'm going to copy it down here. 2h minus 3t equals 12. Solving for h. So we isolate other side. So plus 3t plus 3t. So 2h equals 12 plus 3t. Isolate other side, side by side. Divide each part by 2. So h equals 12 divided by 2 is 6 plus 3 halves t. This one, same equation, 2h minus 3t equals 12, but now it wants us to solve for t. So isolate other side, so minus 2h, minus 2h. You write it side by side. So negative 3t equals 12 minus 2h. Isolate other side, side by side. Divide each part by negative 3. So t equals 12 divided by negative 3 is a negative 4. Negative and a negative is a positive 2/3 h. Okay, and I'm going to stop there because I've got class, and I will come back in a little bit.